Welcome to Down the Row Up at Whole Quilts. I'm Tessa, and today we're going to make another quilt based on a free pattern I found on the Moda website. It's called Morris Medley by Barbara Brockman, and we're going to be using a fabric line called Sunday Stroll by Moda. I chose this because I had actually won this layer cake in a contest, and so I was looking for a pattern to use with it, and I've always really loved it. And then I went ahead and I've just got some white with little polka dots on it, and then I just picked some fabrics out of the line to use for the borders on it. So I'll put the link in the comments to where you can get the pattern, and we'll get started cutting it out. Alright, so all the pieces are cut out. These are all the rectangles that I cut out of my layer cake. And then the triangles that were also cut. And then my background fabric, which was more of the rectangles and more of the triangles. So we're going to start to assemble this, and we're working on the diagonal. So our first piece we have to put together is the corner, which is, let me get them right, which are these two triangles that are going to get sewed together with a 1/4 inch seam, and that will be the beginning of our quilt. Alright, so our very first one is this corner piece here where I've sewed them together, and then strip number 2 is one of the rectangles with a triangle on either side, and then the next one we add an additional one background, one printed with the triangles. And all you have to do is follow the pattern. It shows you how many of the background and how many of the printed that you need to do, and where to put in your colored triangles. So I'm going to go ahead, start sewing this together so you can see how it's going to look. We're going to take a quick little intermission here now that I'm about halfway through putting this quilt together. There are a couple of things I want to talk about. One is these corners up here, this one, and then the opposing one down here. These corner pieces, the small triangles you're going to cut, they don't get put on until you put on these 3 rows. You got to put all 3 of these on, which I believe are 10, 11, and 12. So you got to put those on, and then you will add these to it right across here, sewing, forming your little corner like that. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was when you're piecing the quilt together. For one, there's these little ears that are on it. We need to get rid of those. It's much easier to piece it if you don't have the little ears. This happens to be the opposing corner. So we're going to put it on here like this, and what you need to do is right here where it intersects, that should be a 1/4 inch. So when you sew, you're going to be right at that corner. You're going to go across. You should end a 1/4 inch on this side, and so when you open it up like this, it'll just all match up straight on down both sides, like this here or up here. You don't see any little ears sticking up. Well, you see a little one, but I haven't trimmed him yet. But basically, it's all straight across. So those are just a few things I wanted to go over when doing this. I'm going to go ahead and finish adding the last strips on, and then we'll put some borders on. Center of the quilt is done, and while making this, I had one aha moment and one uh-oh moment. The aha moment was when I discovered, or it dawned on me, that how cool might this look if all of these were the same color, creating a stripe? And we'll get back to that. But the second was, oh crap, because I realized when I decided to make that second quilt to show you how it could look if you made all of these one color, I realized I forgot a row. There should have been another row in between here, and I completely missed it and did not even realize it until I started making the second quilt. So my quilt is a little bit shorter than what the pattern says, but I'm just going to go ahead and go with it because I'm okay with the size on it. The next thing we're going to do here is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add a border. It'll be an inch wide border. I'm going to cut it 1.5 inches, and then there's going to be an additional 6-inch border out here. So I'm going to get those added, and I'll show you how it looks, and then I'm also going to show you the second quilt I made, which is a more modern look. So the quilt is all done, and it's cute as can be. Can you just imagine this being on your front porch during the summer? All sweet. And like I said earlier, I filmed, or I should say I made a modern version of this exact same quilt. So let me show you what that one looks like. Exact same pattern. The only difference is that for these main blocks here, I used the same fabric all the way down, and what I used was a Cafe agate fabric. Sorry about that, the winds are blowing today, but I thought this might be the best way to show you. It's a Cape Facet agate pattern, and then I used a batik in the background, and you can see exact same pattern and a completely different look. So what do you think? Do you like the sweet or do you like the sassy look? If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell, and we'll notify you next time we have a video. And if you'd please leave in the comments whether you like the sweet or the sassy look, I'd appreciate it. Have a good week.